Elon Musk just recorded a secret message for you. Listen before it vanishes. Archangel Michael says, "The hourglass has tipped and the first grain has already fallen." The world around you looks normal, yet the current underneath it is roaring toward a turning point with your name engraved on its edge. A signal has arrived in your life disguised as a whisper, yet it carries the voltage of destiny. A phone screen glows in a quiet room as if a star has landed in your palm. The notification contains no name, only a waveform icon pulsing like a heartbeat. A countdown begins beneath it and the numbers do not pause for doubt. You press play and a voice you know from headlines and launch pads fills the air with calm intensity. The voice does not perform, it delivers, as if the night itself is a container for a message meant only for one set of ears. The silence between words feels engineered to carry meaning the way a rocket carries payload. The voice confirms what your intuition already sensed but could not decode. Your next chapter depends on a decision you have avoided because safe roads feel familiar even when they lead in circles. Familiar roads have served their time and the map now updates in real time because the destination has moved to meet you. You stand inside a corridor of moments that have been arranging themselves like tiles on a runway. The message explains that the runway was never somewhere far away beyond a fence. The runway begins at your feet once you decide to move. The recording carries coordinates that do not appear on public maps. The coordinates point to capacities you already hold but have not powered on. The switches sit inside your routines like hidden panels waiting for a fingertip that finally chooses courage. First switch, attention. Direct it instead of letting it drift. Direct attention generates thrust, and thrust multiplies when you remove friction disguised as needless obligations. Second switch, energy. Feed it with movement, clean fuel, and deliberate rest. Energy is programmable and responds to inputs as predictably as engines respond to oxygen. Third switch, time. Time obeys structure the way orbit obeys gravity. Give each hour a mission and the hours will report back with results. Fourth switch, belief. Belief is not decoration, it is architecture. Build with belief and your structure holds during crosswinds. The voice outlines a simple architecture, not because your destiny is small, but because complexity collapses under acceleration. Simplicity carries heavy loads when designed well and maintained daily. Maintenance is the secret every ordinary miracle is built on. You hear a gentle hum under the words, the kind of hum that lives inside laboratories and hangars. The hum signals precision and patience working side by side. Precision without patience fractures and patience without precision fades. The message references a constellation of projects that are less about machines and more about what the machines unlock in the human spirit. The constellation now includes you because your orbit intersects a purpose that refuses to wait. Purpose is patient with your learning but not with your excuses. Your mind tries to negotiate with the old patterns that preferred delay. Delay once felt like caution, and caution once felt like wisdom. Now delay is drift, and drift spends your fuel without moving you closer. The voice describes a principle you can apply by sunrise. Ship something real before the sun clears the rooftops. Ship again before noon, and again before the sky turns gold, because momentum is a currency and you compound it by moving. The message does not flatter you with empty lines. It highlights your craft and calls you to treat it like flight hardware. Hardware is tested, iterated, and trusted because it survives trials that would undo weak design. You remember moments when you quietly outperformed your environment. Those moments were not accidents, they were signal beacons from your future self. The beacons activate once you stop explaining your dreams to people who enjoy the sound of hesitation. The recording places a time window around the next 7 days. The window is not a threat, it is a launch window synchronized with conditions that favor liftoff. Launch windows close not as punishment but as physics. Day 1 begins with a rewrite of your morning script. Before you check anyone else's signals, you will broadcast your own through decisive action. You will build the first block of the thing you keep postponing, and the block will exist in the physical or digital world where you can point to it without apology. Day 2 belongs to feedback. You will ask for it from someone whose results outrun your fear, not from voices subsidized by your stagnation. The quality of feedback calibrates the quality of your trajectory. Day 3 is iteration day. You will alter what must be altered and keep what must be kept. Iteration is not judgment on your worth, it is proof that you value the mission more than your ego. Day 4 is distribution. You will place your work where the world can meet it without needing to decode your intentions. Distribution is how your effort learns to breathe outside your lungs. Day 5 is leverage. You will automate one recurring task that steals time from your genius. Automation is not cold, it is compassionate toward your highest contribution. Day 6 is partnerships. You will initiate one conversation that scares you in a healthy way. Healthy fear signals frontier, and frontiers gift you new oxygen. Day 7 is review and recommitment. You will measure outputs, not emotions. Emotions can be honored without being obeyed when data points the way forward. The voice pauses so the plan can settle into your muscles. Then it resumes with a story that sounds like a blueprint disguised as a parable without ornament. The story features a builder who measured twice, cut once, then tested 12 times under conditions harsher than the weather expected. The builder learned that heavy stress reveals light cracks early. Early cracks are blessings when you meet them with design adjustments instead of blame. Blame weighs more than steel and moves less than air. You feel a shift as the message transmits a quiet vow. The vow is that you will not abandon your craft when the first corridor is dark. The lights are motion activated and darkness leaves when you enter. Your heart rate steadies because clarity reduces static. Noise cannot survive inside a schedule that honors deep focus. Deep focus grows when you protect it as fiercely as you protect your identity. Identity in this season expands to include maker, steward, and navigator. Maker builds, steward cares, navigator steers toward signal-rich fields. The three roles share a single spine made of integrity. Integrity is a vector that points in one direction regardless of applause. Applause is pleasant and optional. Direction is essential and renewable. The recording references a concept called microboldness. Microboldness is the art of doing the smallest brave thing available right now. Small bravery compounds into trust between you and your future. Trust becomes heat and heat becomes lift. Lift becomes altitude and altitude widens vision. Vision chooses routes that ground-level fear cannot even see. You recall a list of reasons you thought you needed before you began. Reasons shrink when results arrive. Results arrive sooner when you begin while reasons still argue. The voice affirms that your path is not a competition with other paths. Rocket trajectories do not collide when launch windows are respected and vectors are calculated with care. Your vector leads you into a corridor only you can pressurize with presence. Presence is not performance. Presence is full contact with the task in front of you without fleeing into fantasy or memory. Fantasy without action is fog and memory without learning is weight. You will replace fog with a dashboard. Your dashboard will show inputs you can control and outputs you can monitor. You will retire vanity metrics and prioritize indicators that map to impact. Impact will not apologize for being visible. Visible impact attracts responsibility and responsibility matures you into the scale of your calling. Scale without maturity collapses and the message is here to prevent collapse. You remember a time you mistook speed for progress. You now choose throughput that matches meaningful design. Throughput that matters produces artifacts you can point to with the quiet pride of a craftsperson. The recording transitions to the language of constellations and networks. Not all stars must be bright to be vital. Some shine small and steady to form the pattern that guides ships home. You are invited to become one of those steady lights while you prepare for brighter burn. Steady lights rescue travelers who thought they were alone. Many will thank you by becoming steady lights for others. This is how movements begin without slogans. A handful of people start doing deliberate work at a rhythm that makes excellence feel normal. Normal excellence rewrites expectations in the background while the world adjusts its settings. You feel the outline of your next project press against your ribcage. The outline wants permission to become visible. You grant permission by naming it out loud in your workspace and putting the first visible unit on the table. Unit by unit is not slow when the units are shipped on schedule. Schedules rescue dreams from the swamp of someday. Someday dissolves when you print a calendar that knows your promise. The voice offers a simple principle called one layer deeper. When others stop, you go one layer deeper. One layer deeper is often the difference between almost and achieved. You apply one layer deeper to your research until your notes become a field guide. Field guides save time for everyone who follows your path. Saving time for others makes your work magnetic. The message addresses discouragement before it can disguise itself as logic. Discouragement speaks with a tone that sounds responsible while quietly draining your voltage. You will let data speak first and courage speak next. Some seasons require a return to first love. First love is the reason you began before anyone knew your name. Returning to that reason returns your energy to you. The voice shares that the world currently rewards builders who can learn in public without collapsing when criticized. You will practice public learning with small stakes that prepare you for larger rooms. Rooms enlarge when your tolerance for feedback enlarges. A brief section outlines ethical acceleration. Ethical acceleration means building faster while honoring the people and planet that give you materials and attention. Speed paired with conscience earns longevity. Longevity matters because endurance trumps bursts in the long arc of meaningful work. Bursts can open doors. Endurance builds houses. You begin to see your life as a launch program with phases. Phase 0 is belief and habit retrofit. Phase 1 is prototype to user, and Phase 2 is scale with soul. Scale with soul means you do not trade your sanity for reach. Sanity is the ground station that keeps the mission in contact with home. Missions without ground stations drift until their signals fade. The recording names a quiet truth. The truth is that you outgrew old rooms long before you admitted it. Admitting it frees you to build new rooms that fit your present height. The voice notes that ambition without tenderness becomes hard and brittle. Tenderness without ambition becomes soft and shapeless. You will carry both and let them teach each other balance. Balance does not mean stillness. Balance means dynamic stability while moving at meaningful speed. Dancers know this, and so do pilots. You decide that your craft will move daily regardless of mood. Mood can come along for the ride or take a nap in the passenger seat. Your schedule drives because your schedule knows the route. The recording offers a 3-part ritual that anchors builders during turbulence. Begin with breath and a sentence that declares the day's mission. Continue with a block of deep work measured by output, then close with a brief log that teaches tomorrow what today learned. Logs are small letters to your future self. Your future self reads them with gratitude because they shorten the distance to mastery. Mastery is not a finish line, it is a relationship with improvement. Improvement is inevitable when you remove the reasons to stop. You will remove one reason today and another tomorrow. Removal creates space, and space invites vision. The voice speaks the word relentless with warmth instead of strain. Relentless here means kind persistence applied to the right problem. Right problems bless the solver and the world. You begin to catalog your right problems. Each right problem holds a door to someone's relief. Your solution becomes their story, and their story travels further than your advertisement. The recording touches on reputation. Reputation is what people remember when your marketing stops speaking. You will build the kind of reputation that whispers credibility from room to room. You will achieve this by telling the truth in your metrics and the truth in your deadlines. You will refuse to ship empty volume just to look busy. You will ship concentrated value that teaches people to expect substance. Your eyes catch the countdown as it races toward a narrow number. The message intensifies in rhythm but not in panic. Urgency here is clarity running at full speed. The voice says that many choose comfort during thresholds and unknowingly choose a loop. You are choosing a horizon, and horizons require departure from familiar shores. Departure hurts in the way growth hurts when it asks for space. Space arrives when you say no to the invitations that feed your delay. No is a tool in the hands of a builder. No makes room for a larger yes that deserves a seat. You breathe and feel a lock click open behind your sternum. The corridor widens because decision turned the handle. The handle was not heavy, it only required your full hand. The recording returns to craft. Craft marries curiosity to discipline and refuses divorce. The vows are kept through process, not through mood. You recall that you loved this work before you were paid for it. You will love it now with the added weight of responsibility and the added sweetness of impact. Sweetness deepens when you pour it without counting the teaspoons. Neighbors of your destiny begin to arrive. These are people who respect velocity and kindness in the same measure. Velocity without kindness bruises, and kindness without velocity stalls. Your community will be small and fierce at first. Fierce does not mean loud, it means faithful to the work. You will choose collaborators who choose the mission over their reflection. The voice outlines the cost of standing up publicly. Some will misunderstand and some will misrepresent your motives. Your task remains to build, to clarify, and to keep delivering value so consistently that noise gets bored. As the minutes thin, the message compresses into a set of declarations for you to install. You will build daily. You will ship weekly. You will measure honestly, and you will listen to feedback from qualified sources. You will protect your energy from theft disguised as urgency. You will let results argue for you while you continue the work. You will design a system that survives on tough days. The system will carry you the way rails carry trains during storms. Storms will come and you will keep moving because the route was engineered for weather. Your capacity will expand as your promises keep their shape. Promises that keep their shape transform identity from the inside out. The outside world will notice in due time and in true proportion. You will invest in learning that multiplies your output rather than distracts it. Courses and books will serve as tools, not as substitutes for doing. Doing will remain the core curriculum. The voice invites you to a practice called silent launches. You will build quietly and then appear with a finished module that speaks for itself. The surprise is not a trick, it is a courtesy to attention. You will also practice loud gratitude. Loud gratitude honors the people who supported you when it was still risky to believe. Gratitude magnetizes support because everyone loves to witness appreciation expressed with sincerity. As the waveform narrows, the recording places a seal on the message. The seal is a commitment between your future and your present signed in action. The signature is 3 lines long and lives on your calendar. Line 1 says create. Line 2 says share. Line 3 says improve. You feel a steadiness arrive where doubt used to pace. The room does not change, yet the geometry of your courage fills it differently. Courage quietly expands walls to fit the life you are building. The voice ends with a final set of instructions encoded as reminders. Remember that discipline is kindness to your future. Remember that momentum is the friend who visits only when invited by motion. Remember that your craft deserves environments that help it breathe. Arrange those environments the way astronauts arrange checklists. Checklists set you free by holding what your mind should not have to carry alone. The last seconds feel like sand passing a narrow neck of glass. The message fades not as a disappearance but as a transfer. What you need now is no longer inside the recording because it moved into you. You sit with the afterglow of clarity and feel the engine spin up. The first action waits within reach and the second will reveal itself once the first is complete. This is the way real journeys begin without fanfare that drains fuel. Your hands know what to do because your heart decided before your hands moved. You rise and begin assembling the next visible unit as promised. The room witnesses your decision the way the sky witnesses liftoff. You choose the identity that matches the work rather than waiting for the feeling that matches the fantasy. Feelings will join you once the evidence arrives. Evidence arrives when your calendar keeps its word. The night outside keeps its quiet and the countdown is gone. In its place lives a rhythm that will carry you through the mornings when inspiration sleeps in. Rhythm is how professionals keep their promises when feelings run late. You stack tasks into a lattice of progress. Each task leans on the last and supports the next. Lattices grow into structures that hold dreams without cracking. You give your attention to the part of the world only you can mend. Mending here means building something strong where something fragile used to live. Strong work softens suffering and your hands were built for this softness. Your path widens to include people you have not met yet. They will recognize your work before they recognize your name. Your work will introduce you with a handshake made of usefulness. This is the life you construct with conviction and humility. Conviction fuels the engine, humility keeps the instruments accurate. When instruments are accurate, even the clouds feel like friendly company. You write the first status update to yourself and it reads like a pilot's log. The log includes today's build, today's lesson, and tomorrow's target. Targets focus your light into a beam that reaches the distance. You select tools that respond to your touch with reliability. Reliable tools respect their owner by doing exactly as asked. You become the kind of owner who asks clearly. Clarity in requests creates clarity in results. Clarity saves you from loops and returns you to lanes. Lanes let you accelerate without drift. You will not seek permission from people who forgot how to begin. You will quietly take responsibility and move. Responsibility is the gateway to freedom because it puts the keys in your hand. The recording may vanish, but the mission has taken root. Vanishing is a feature, not a flaw. Messages that matter embed themselves and then dissolve so you are not tempted to worship the container. Now you are the carrier. You carry the discipline, the plan, the switches, and the vow. You carry them into your morning and onto your timeline and into the lives that intersect with your generosity. You do not wait for a perfect mood to signal the start. You signal the start by starting. Starting sends a flare and the right help knows how to read flares. Help arrives as partners, tools, insights, and timely open doors. Doors open for those moving down the hallway rather than those describing the hallway. You will move down the hallway with quiet speed and grateful stability. Archangel Michael says the signal was never random and the timing is aligned with your readiness. Readiness is not perfection, readiness is willingness to engage fully. You are willing and the corridor is now lit. You step forward without spectacle. Steps become strides and strides become a cadence you trust. Cadence creates a soundtrack for progress that you can hum while you work. Your work will hum back to you with the tone of service. Service gives endurance meaning. Meaning gives endurance joy. Joy will not be loud at first, but it will be true. True joy stabilizes effort during long arcs. Long arcs bring you to horizons only endurance can reach. The recording is complete and the room holds the echo for a breath before absorbing it. The silence is not empty, it is charged. Charged silence is the birthplace of action. You pick up the tools already within reach. You name the mission for this day and write it where your eyes cannot ignore it. You begin and the beginning begins to carry you. The message now lives in the way you cut distractions like extra wiring. It lives in the way you line up tasks like rivets that hold wings in place. It lives in the way you honor the schedule that honors the dream. You understand that this is a relay. The baton passes from voice to builder, from idea to artifact, from intention to impact. You are now the builder and the artifact is on its way into the world. The world feels the difference when one person chooses aligned momentum. The difference may start small and still matter completely. Small shifts in trajectory create wide separations over time. Time will be your ally because you will treat it as a partner, not as an enemy. Partners receive clear instructions and mutual respect. You will instruct your hours and your hours will return with the results you requested. You will sleep like someone who worked with integrity. Sleep refuels the engine and resets the instruments. You will wake ready to continue without drama. Tomorrow will thank today for the unit you shipped. Next week will thank this week for the habit you installed. Your future will thank you for beginning when you did not feel ready. This is your moment to convert clarity into motion. Motion unlocks doors that words cannot unlock. You have the keys and the engine is warm. The screen dims and the waveform icon fades. A new icon rises in its place with a label that reads "Built Today." You tap it with a steady hand and return to the work. Archangel Michael says the signal did not end when the audio faded, it shifted into the cadence of